All right, so we can get started to our weekly market focus session. We can get started, and as always, we are going to start with sentimental analysis. That is in my FX book. My FX book. We see what's there for us. So, siko sawa nani? Yangaliva.
Iko sawa?
Okay, sawa sawa. So, as I was saying, we are going to start with sentimental analysis. We are going to start with sentimental analysis. Mhm. We are going to start with sentimental analysis, and that one we are going to be using my FX book. So when you go to my FX book, you come to where we have community, then you go to where we have sentiments. Later. So community, then where we have sentiments. You can as well use the sentiment here. So now, once now you have gone to where we have sentiments, you just scroll down there, and you are going to see this. This is it now. First currency there we have it's Euro USD. So you can see for Euro USD currently most of the traders are on buys. That is 54%, while 46% are on sell. So in this case, you can be looking for selling opportunities. Now let's check on GBPUSD. You can see shorts are 47%, while longs are 53%. So that means most of the traders are on buys on GBPUSD as well. You can see that. So what we are going to do now, we will scroll down, look on the pairs we will be trading. That is, we will be going to check on gold. For the other pairs, you can just look at them the way you have seen what we have done for the first two pairs. You have seen what we have done to the Euro USD, GBP USD. You just bring your cursor to where you have the pair. You can see like now there, then you bring your cursor there, and then you are going to see it. So you can see like for USD JPY, most of the traders are on what? Are on sales. That is 82% are on sales, while 18% are on longs. So in this case, we will be looking to look for buys on USD JPY. This is now what you hear people say or call it sentiment analysis. So we will align it with technicals and also with fundamentals, and we will come to a good conclusion. Now, looking at GBP, you can see shorts are 59%, while longs are 41%. So 41% of traders are on buys. So sorry, majority are on sales, so it's good for us to look for the opposite. We join the minority, the smart guys, who, whatever they call themselves, the smart money, whatever. So let's drop down there and see what we have on gold. Let's see what's there on gold. Let's see. Okay, where's gold? Gold, XAUUSD, here it is. We have gold. We have gold. XAUUSD, here is it. So you can see gold sales are 43% while buys are 57%. So that means, yeah, recently you have seen gold has been on sales, but you can see sales still have the higher percentage in this case, like it's the minority. So we are still having those guys who have not yet noticed that the trend have shifted and so on. So um, this week we'll be looking for more selling opportunities on gold. We'll be looking for more selling opportunities on gold. That is now based on what? Based on sentimental analysis. Let's um, let's get to something different, and that is going now to be the economic calendar or the fundamental analysis. So in this case, we're going to use Forex Factory. We will be using Forex Factory. We will be using Forex Factory. What is this guy said? Currently, we have a strategy known as DTS, Donald Trump strategy. You need to be following what this nigga is saying. You can see this morning attack on Beirut should not have happened, particularly on a special day when we are so close to peace deal with Iran. Israel has the right to defend itself against threats, but the attack it was small and meaningless. Nobody was hurt, injured, or killed. Okay, this is just some of the things you need to be checking all over the weekend. They might seem minor, but when the market opens, you might see gaps because of them. So let's wait and see how the market opens tomorrow. So now let's get into it. Make sure you are following up on those. You have seen what was happening last week. All of a sudden, market is just crazy because of a simple tweet from Trump. So if you don't have a tweet or an X account, kindly make sure you get to create one. And also, if you have one, make sure you have your notifications on. When there's a tweet, you get it um, uh, instantly. So tomorrow is on Monday, and tomorrow means on Monday, I don't see us having any major news event tomorrow on Monday. We don't have any major news tomorrow on Monday. So we proceed, and that is now going to take us to Tuesday. That will take us to Tuesday. So on Tuesday, um, the important news you are going to be having on Tuesday is the BOJ policy rate. So it's all about now the monetary policies. I'll be talking more on monetary policies, what are monetary policies, and so on. So we will be expecting the Bank of Japan, that is now BOJ. We will be expecting the Bank of Japan to do what? To release its statement on interest rates, right? So you can see previously the rates were at 5.2%. We have one which was released last week and it remained. Let's confirm which bank released the interest rates last week and they remained the same. It was Eurobank, this one. So it remained at okay. It was at what? Monetary policy statement. No, it's not that one. Let me confirm. This one which released the interest rates last week and it remained is card. Let's see. Okay, yeah. For card, it remained at 2.5%. for card remained at 2.5%, and in most cases these banks tend to follow the trend. They like following the trend, so we might see the same thing happening to the other banks. They might decide to do rate pause. So we were on Tuesday. I told you that we will be having interest rates on Japan, right? Again, we are going to have what they are calling it, what, cash rates. Cash rates are the interest rates. Also, Audi is going to be doing the same. So on Tuesday, we are going to be having two monetary policies or interest rates releases. That is on Japan and also in Audi, that is in Austria. Then we normally have a press conference 30 minutes after the release. So if maybe you want to trade the news and you did not catch the first move of the news, let's say the news came out as positive. Let's say it was, let me use an example of the dollar. The news was positive for the dollar, so gold sold, right? It is sold like for the first 5-10 minutes. Then it started doing what? It started doing some pullback. So what will happen later? During the press conference, the market will continue with the trend. The market will continue with that trend. So if you had missed the first entry, you can check on an entry during the press conference. And always remember, while you are trading news, mostly I normally advise people have two accounts. If you are going to be trading news, let's say you have said my stop loss, or I'm willing to lose something like $50. So you transfer the $50 from your main account to the other account. Then for news, you just go full margin. When things go well, you invest good. If you are going to be using your main account, make sure you are using proper risk management, and if you get losses, don't revenge, because if you go to revenge, it will lead you to overtrade, because you will be looking for recovering your money and making some profit. So avoid that. Okay, let's continue. You can see we are going to have a G7 meetings there. That is it will be a day 2 of it. It might seem not an high impact news, but we need to be checking it out. ADP weekly employment change, on the US is coming on Tuesday this time, rather. ADP weekly employment change, I don't know what's up. That is on Tuesday. So Tuesday is done. We go to Wednesday. On Wednesday, you can see the most important news we have. First here is the one is CPI for the pound. That is year over year. CPI year over year on the pound. Then later at night, that will be at 9 p.m. we are going to have FOMC. FOMC stands for Federal Open Meeting Committee, FONC or FOMC. So this is the release of now is the news release on interest rates in the United States of America. So that is it. Federal, F stands for Federal Open Market Committee. Federal Open Market Committee, that is now FOMC. And in a year we normally have 8 FOMC meetings. In a year we have 8 FOMC meetings. So we are going to be having the release at 9 p.m. Then 30 minutes later we will be having the press conference. Currently the US interest rate is at 3.75. So with what happened with the NFP, it's highly likely that we are going to have a rate pause or a rate hike, but a rate pause will be more likely, so that we can have two rate pauses following each other, and then later the next one, now we might be having a rate hike. The chances of having a rate cut have reduced a lot. So maybe someone might be asking, okay, let me just start with simple explanation. Monetary policies. Monetary policies. So what are monetary policies? This is how a country's central bank, this is how a country's central bank controls money supply and interest rates to keep the economy what? To keep the economy stable. So the main goal of the central bank, that is now we can say is the main aim of the government through the central bank. One is to control inflation, support growth, maintain employment levels. You saw the other week we had an FP that is about employment. Also ensure financial stability. So those are just some of the goals or the aims of what? Of having monetary policies. So now, what are interest rates? Interest rates, this is now the cost of borrowing money or the reward of doing what? Of saving money, because at the end of the day, what you are going to get is interest. If I give you a loan, you're going to pay back, and you will not pay back what I gave you. You will pay back with interest. So I will have earned interest. If you save money, that money is going to earn you interest. I hope we are together on that. So we normally have three types. We have rate cuts, we have rate hikes, and we have rate pause. So rate cuts is now when the interest rates are going down or are being lowered, and during a rate cut, borrowing becomes cheap. Borrowing becomes cheap. So if borrowing is cheap, you'll get that spending is going to increase. Things like stocks, the price of stocks is going to be high, because if the borrowing is low, that means there is a lot of money will be there. So you will need to spend more to get, if you want to buy something like a stock, and you will have to spend more. In this case now I'm talking about the US dollar is going to weaken. So if the US dollar is weakening, gold is now going to gain strength. Why? Because investors will look for something which is much safer, right? Since the dollar is going down, so they look for an alternative. That's why they will invest in gold, they will invest in Bitcoin, they will invest in stocks. Now we have rate pause. Rate pause is when now the interest rates remain at the same state without any change. So in most cases, when we have rate pauses, it depends with the future expectation. So if the future expectation is a rate hike, the dollar is going to gain strength. But if it's a rate cut, the dollar is going to lose. So what will happen if we are going to be having a rate pause as I am anticipating, and the dollar is going to be bullish? Also, that's my anticipation, because I've said I am expecting the next FOMC. Now after this one, we are going to have a possible rate hike. So we'll be expecting the dollar to be bullish in this case. I hope we are together. So that is when we are going to, if the rate pause happens. If that happens when the dollar is going up, gold is going to be selling. I hope we are together on that. Again, now the last one is now what we call the rate hikes. Rate hikes. Interest rates going up. Interest rates going up. So when the interest rates goes up, that means now borrowing becomes expensive. So if borrowing is now expensive, you get that the dollar is gaining strength. Stocks are losing because investors now are opting to invest in the dollar. Investors are opting to invest in the dollar, so stocks will be losing strength. um, Gold will be doing the same, will be losing strength. Mortgage is going to increase. Mortgage is now about houses and so on. That's why you normally see, we normally have that news of what, home sales. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. I just paused there to explain a little bit of that. Let's continue. So on Thursday at 1:45 a.m. we are going to have a GDP quarter to quarter, QQ, that is quarter to quarter on NZD, and you can see previous was at 0.2%. They are expecting it this time to increase to 0.8. So even if it comes at 0.3, it's a positive news. So if it's a positive news for the New Zealand dollar, every pair with the New Zealand dollar as the base is going to buy. So NZD USD, what will happen to the pair? NZD USD, remember in this case, the New Zealand dollar is the base. What will happen? Remember, in Forex, we normally focus on the base. Our focus is on the base, the first currency in the pair. Okay, later, that is at 9 a.m., we will be having climate count change in the UK. This is the same as the weekly unemployment claims in the US, where people who have not been employed, they claim for benefits from the government. Like the government can pay your rent, they can pay your insurances, things like that. You can go and do more research on it so that you can understand much better what this climate count change is. At 10, we are going to have monetary policy assessment, that is on the CHF. We will have the interest rates release. You can see this one is very tricky. It is at 0.00, so meaning inflation there. Inflation in is it? I even don't know what to say. But just go and do more research and understand what this means. When if the interest rates are at a zero on this, that one, doing the research will help you understand more than how I can explain it to you. Later at 2 p.m. we will be having monetary policy on in UK. There's also a possibility of having a rate pause. We have a possibility of having a rate pause on the same as it is with the US. Then we go to Friday. So on Friday you can see we have a bank holiday in the US. We have a bank holiday on China as well. The CNY bank holiday, that is China. Then we have bank holiday in the US. And that's how the economic calendar looks, guys. That's how the economic calendar looks for this week. So I don't see anything else there. So with that being said or being done, I hope we can move forward and check now on technical analysis. We can go to technical analysis. And when it comes to technical analysis, I normally like doing it while I start with the dollar index. I like doing my analysis from the dollar index or the DXY, as it will give me a clue of what I expect. And the other day I shared this information with those who are in the meeting. If the DXY is bullish, you buy USDXX, you do what? You buy. If the dollar index is bullish, remember the ones you are buying are USDXX. That means every pair that starts with the US dollar, you are going to get to look for a buy on it. So if you're looking for a buy on those pairs, what of the rest which have the dollar as the quote or the second currency? They will do the opposite. You will be selling, and the vice versa happens. If the dollar is bearish, USD are going to sell, and XXX USDs will be buying. So it's up to you now to go to your charts and look for entries. Yeah. So that is just a common knowledge on correlation. Okay, so previously this is the analysis we had on this, and you can see DXY did pretty well. So I can clear it, and then we can have a we can have a fresh analysis. We can have a fresh analysis. We can have a fresh analysis. We can have fresh analysis. So I normally do what we call top-down analysis. I do top-down analysis. That means I start my analysis from higher time frames coming to lower time frames. I start my analysis from higher time frames to lower time frames. So in this case, the higher time frame I'll be using here is going to be weekly time frame. I'll be using weekly time frame as the higher time frame in this case. So now what I'll do, I'll look at this pair. What I'll do, so you can see this is the high of last week. So above the high of last week, I have this. I'll mark that high point there. Then I'll look here. I'll mark this lowest point. That was the low of last week, but last week but one. Yeah, no, last week but two. I'll mark that low, or I can mark the one for last week but one. I can mark that one. So with these 2 points being marked, I already now have my playground. So that means the market can either go to that level up there or come down here. That is now my playground. Remember, the overall trend here, the market has been in a consolidation. The market has been consolidating for a very long time. You remember this weekly time frame. That means every candle here is taking a whole week. So 4 candles form a month. So it's been consolidating here for a very long time. Market has been consolidating here for a very long time, right? So and before the consolidation, market was selling, and market moves in passive move. That is a strong move towards the downside, then consolidation or correction, and then the market will impasse again, and market will do another strong move. That is what we call an impassive move. So if you want to understand the market well, first understand how the market moves. There's a strong move towards one side, a correction, and then an impassive move follows. So market moves in impasse, correction, impasse. Just go to your charts and backtest, you will see that that's how the market moves. Yeah. So having marked the high, that high and this low, and back in mind, I know that the trend is what? The trend is bearish. The trend is bearish. That is according to the time frame I'm using. But when you go to higher time frames, you will see that the trend it's been bullish. On when you go to monthly time frame, you will see that the market is extremely bullish. But now here on weekly time frame, you can see that market has been consolidating lately. So now with that being done, we can do what? We can go to daily time frame.
There's one thing
We can go to daily time frame. So top down analysis is where you start from higher time frames coming to lower time frames. Top down analysis, you start from higher time frames coming to lower time frames. So we have marked those two levels on the weekly time frame. So we come here and see the market. You can see the market is having this uptrend. The market is having this uptrend. I have drawn my support. Let me plot my resistance. Let me plot my resistance so that you can have a clear channel there. So you can see I have now both support and resistance, right? Now when you look at this market, you can see we had a gap here which was filled. We had a gap here which was filled. We had a gap there which was filled, and where that gap was filled, when you look left or behind, you can see it seems to be a strong. It seems to be a very strong zone or level there. Yeah, right. So according now to what I have, if I could be that kind of a swing trader, I could say I will wait for the market to drop back here, come to give me a touch on the trend line, and also come to respect the zone here, and then I can continue looking for buys. That is now on daily time frame. Let's drop and see what 4 hours got. Let's see 4 hour time frame. Let's see H4. Let's see what is there on the 4 hour time frame. So you can see on the 4 hour time frame, initially the market was consolidating here. The market has been consolidating, and then it finally broke out impulsively, and then after that market dropped back, and it's now doing something here. The market is consolidating. So now remember, I've always been telling you the market moves in impulse correction, so we can expect an impulsive move, and the market will probably come back to this order block, which is now within our zone, and from there we can look forward. We can look for long buys, and by so doing, if now you start thinking critically, we see that the market will have given us the pattern we normally call a bullish flag. The market will have given a bullish flag by so doing. So we will be watching this. It's another block on H4, and also it happens to be an FPG. Let's see whether the market has already respected 50% of the FPG or okay. Yeah, you can see market tapped at the 50% of the FPG, and then it started going up. Market tapped on this 50% of the FPG, and then it started going up. But now I can expect it to drop to the 100% level here. Then we can look for those long buys on the dollar index. So that is that's my take on the dollar index. I expect the market to drop here, and then I can continue looking for buys. That is going to be probably tomorrow. That is what I expect on the dollar index. So if the dollar index will be selling, GBPUSD is going to be buying, Euro USD will be buying, gold will be buying, yeah, Audi USD will be buying. So that's my take on the dollar index. I don't think 1 hour has something. Okay, just 1 hour, coming to 1 hour is just the same thing. You can see on 1 hour is there's nothing much on the 1 hour time frame. Yeah, so let's wait and see how the market opens. So I expect the market to continue selling and come to my zone over here around 98.9. around that level. That's where I'll be waiting for DXY to come, and then can start looking for its buys. And in case it fails to come to that, remember on the 1 hour time frame I have an FVG on H1, and for the H1 FVG, let me see where I have the 50% of this, because we have seen on the H4 market has respected. So let's mark this one for 1 hour. Market might drop and come to respect it and then go up. So don't ignore anything in the market. Don't ignore anything. So that is it. 99 at 99.086. Watch that level as well. 99.086 and 98.9. Watch those levels on the dollar index. Now let's check on GBPUSD. It's been quite a while. I've not an analysis on this, but the last time you can see our trade did extremely wonderful good. The buys here went, though it did not go to the anticipated zone, and then from there the sells all the way and came to our zone. So we can do now a fresh analysis and see what we expect. Let's do fresh analysis. Remember, it's top-down analysis. From higher time frame to lower time frame. So when you look on this is weekly time frame. When you look in the recent weeks, the market is being bearish, but overall you can see the market is being bullish overall. So I'll mark the high and the low of last week. So with these two, now I already have the playground for the market. Since the market is bearish, there is high probability the market will now be coming and attempting to do what? To take out this low. Remember, even in the sentiments we have seen most of the traders are on buys, and when we see that happens on sentiments, remember we normally like to be with the minority. So let's go to what? This is a daily time frame. Now coming to daily time frame, even without doing anything, by just looking, you can see the market is giving us this kind of chart pattern. We have a double top there. This is a letter M, and also we have an head and shoulder. So I'll be expecting this market to be dropping. I expect sales. I expect this market to be selling. But before then, you might see the market come to this. It already respected the order block, but it might come back again to that and then continue doing what? Continue selling. So this is going to be the target, the first target. So in this, do we have a trend here? Now let's see H4. Let's see how things look on H4. Remember what I told you, the market moves in impasse, correction, impasse. So when you come to 4 hour time frame, you can see the market, it's been trading inside this. The market has been trading inside this channel. For the one I had drawn on daily time frame, I can delete it. It's not that much needed. So the market is being trading here. So what we can expect after the market opens, the market might drop to this zone here, then go up to the zone before we come for long sales. This is GBPUSD. So you can expect something like that. On GBPUSD, because by so doing Market here will have given me an inverted head and shoulder, there. Market will have given me an inverted head and shoulders. I don't know whether you guys can see it. The market will have given me an inverted head and shoulders by so doing, by just giving a short drop, and then those who missed on the buy entry can ride on. Those who missed on the buys can ride on. Now let's check on 1 hour if there is anything of importance. So now when you come to 1 hour, you will see that the market is during the last hours of Friday, the market was trading inside this, and when we it's a rectangle, it's giving us what? Equal highs and equal lows, equal highs, equal lows. So when it comes to chart patterns, we normally have what we call rectangles. We have bullish and bearish rectangles. So what the market was forming here is a possible bullish rectangle. Why do I say it's a bullish? Because the market came from this lower zone impassively, and then it started doing what? Consolidating here. So we expect the market to break out first, grab liquidity, and then we can now come down. So that is my take on GBPUSD. That's my take on GBPUSD. So we will wait and see how the market opens first. Then from there, we can look if our analysis is aligning with what we have seen. So after GBPUSD, the other pair I would like to look at is what gold. I do it at last. No, we don't have many who trade Bitcoin, but you can just Bitcoin. I expect Bitcoin to continue selling. Okay, just this was my analysis. Actually, I don't need to do more analysis. I don't need to do analysis on that. So I had that market. You can see the market broke out. This is weekly time frame, don't forget. So I had this, and this is what I have been telling you. The market moves in impasse. That is a strong move. Correction, impasse, correction, and then impasse. So now what we can expect to be happening now, market will start consolidating here, and then it can give the next impasse to around 4700 or 48 there, and then we can look for longs on Bitcoin. We can take long buys on Bitcoin. That is weekly time frame, don't forget. So Bitcoin, we are bearish. We are going down on Bitcoin. Yes, who is trying to speak? Somebody is trying to speak. So for Bitcoin, as I've just said, we'll be looking for sales on Bitcoin. Daily time frame, you can see the candlestick for today is turning bearish. H4, you can as well see the market is clear. And H4. So we are still dropping. We are going below 6,000, 60,000. We are going below 60,000 on Bitcoin. Actually, previously the market dropped to 50 watts. So we are going below this low. We are going below this. We are going below for 59, 118. We are going below that. we are going below that on Bitcoin. 40k, okay, it's a possibility, Young Khalifa, yeah, because you can see as for me what I have here, I'm watching on what, 49, first is 49, then next is 30, 38, 38.5. So anything is possible, let's wait and see. Like these ones, I don't know which year was this when I shared this. I guess this is normally on my TikTok account. The time I shared this move before it happened. I shared this move before it happened, and it did well. Market went all the way up to 115. Yeah. So I expect this to drop, and then we can look for those long buys. So let's check on gold. And we can call it a day. XAUUSD. Let's check on gold and we can call it a day. Alright, so clear. Gold. So on gold, allow me start from monthly time frame. Allow me start my analysis from monthly time frame. Allow me start my analysis from monthly time frame on gold. So when we check on gold, you can see the last 3 months. The last 3 months, gold has been bearish. We have last month but 1, last month but 2. Gold has been very bearish. And now we have the current month whereby gold is still bearish. So let's start with this. Market broke out the low of last month. Let me mark it because initially it was a support, but market broke out. So currently is now a resistance. Currently it's a resistance and a very strong one actually. Again, when you look here, we had this low which was left sometimes back. Market dropped, then made a pullback going up. It was cleared, or it was taken out last week. And then below, slightly below it, we have an FVG somewhere here. That's around 38.65. So these are the levels we are going to be working on with right now. Then what else can I mark here is the high of this month, and the high of this month happens to be the closing of last month candlestick body. So that means the high of this month, it happens to be a very strong resistance as well. Also the low of last month happens to be a very strong resistance level. So on monthly time frame, that's it. I don't have anything to do or to say there. Monthly time frame confirms for us that the market is clearly bearish or strongly bearish. Now you can see last week after the market took out this, it started doing what? It started pulling back, and we had this Kaobi order block here, which is one of the things we can say pushed market up. Also adding what news were coming out or were coming in. No English is hard, man. So now this was last week. So what is likely to happen this week? Market is likely going to come up to this, or come up to around here, and then we can continue dropping. So let me add this. Let me use this one. Around 4300. You might see gold buy to 4300 tomorrow Tuesday, 4300, and then or even during the FOMC market might first buy and then drop. So I'll be watching on that. So that is on the weekly time frame. Let's drop to daily. Let's see daily. So daily, you can see the last 2 days of the week market was very bullish. That was on Thursday and also on Friday. So you can see we have March happens to be we are having a kind of what, I even don't know what you guys call that candlesticks. I don't any candlesticks, I don't trade them, so I don't know their names and so on. But these are point of interest. These are point to watch. This one, the 4300 around that level. So on daily time frame, the last 2 days were very bullish. So now let's come to 4 hours. Let's come to H4. Now when you come to H4, you will see that the market has this kind of a trend on H4. The market has this trend on H4. The market has this trend on H4. And now what you have to do, you have to be very keen, because for this one I can shift it to here and get now for the current market. It will still be okay, because now this market might decide to break out impulsively there, do a retest and then go further, or the market will drop. That is now the high probability will be having drop to this level, and then we can look for buy. So remember, we have a very strong zone here. We have a very strong resistance zone here. So we have to be very keen with that zone between 4300 to 4380. Market might open, drop, and this is what I have that feeling this is what will happen. Market will first drop to around 41 something, then we can look for buys, then we sell long. Okay, this is 4 hours. That is 4 hours. But what 4 hours has confirmed to us, we will be looking for some buys in the market. We will be looking for buys. Yes, the trend is bearish, but there are buys we will be looking for. We will be looking for buys. Let's see H1. Let's see H1. Now, when you come to 1 hour, you will see that we have this trend. We have this trend there. We have this. So what is likely to happen? Okay, I don't do this, but allow me to do it. I don't like extending my lines this way, but allow me to do it right now. So I'll expect this market to come to this level, where it will be giving us a third touch on that. It will be giving us a third touch. The market will be giving us a third touch. The market will be giving us a third touch on the trend line, which when you look here, you will see we have a strong zone over here as well, a resistance zone here. We have a very strong resistance zone here. And by so doing, I can expect now the market to start dropping. I can expect that. So I'll be watching on this. So this one I can take it back to this. So I'll be watching on this. I'll be watching on that. So let me mark this. The zone has an FVG and another block there, so I'll be watching it. It's at 4260. Remember last time we were expecting market to drop from it was what was it 68 this time, yeah, and then it dropped from 63. So yeah, but I'll be watching this zone, this level, yeah. So the reason is to why I'm saying that I'm looking for gold to buy is because one, market gave us a double bottom. Market gave a W here, that is a double bottom, then went up. Currently the market is in a correction, so I expect it to break out passively before it can change. So when you check on what, just a minute, when you check here, this one, you'll see the market is giving an inverted head and shoulders. You can see the market is giving what, an inverted head and shoulders. So I'll be expecting the market to come up. First, I watch this 1 hour zone. If it goes past that, I'll watch now this. Are we together? That is at this is 43.30 to 45, around those levels. I'll be watching them. So yeah, that is it on gold. That is it on gold. So let me see 1 hour. Sorry, let me see 30 minutes. Let's see 30 minutes. So that is how it looks. Let's check on this. We have this website I told you, we call it Hyperliquid, and Hyperliquid, I told you, it will help you monitor prices over the weekend. So you can see that market dropped to 42.03, 42.03, 42. Did it come to that? So let me confirm when was this. I can't see when was it. I can't see. So on this I can't see the date. I wanted to see when was that, because you get that. Okay, it was at around 40. It's 42.03. So this market might come here, and then you can look for a buy. The market, actually this is it. Good. This is 15 minutes. So I will be waiting for the market to first sell to this zone. Good. You can see this is where the market is. We have this zone, so I can expect it to come there, drop to this, go up, and then we can now look for the long buys. I don't know whether you have understood anything there. So that is what I expect to see on gold. That is what I expect to see on gold. I expect to see this move on gold. Market open, market comes to this zone around 4200, 4180. Then from there we can look for long buys to 4280, 4300, and then we can now continue looking for long sells. The market is still bearish, but we have to buy. We have to first buy, because even when you come to 1 hour, the patterns there are confirming for us buys. We have an inverted head and shoulders there. We have a double bottom which was formed. Currently what the market is forming is a possible bullish rectangle, so we have to go up first before we continue with our sales, and by so doing, if that happens, market will have now given us what? A very clear bearish flag on 1 hour. Market drops, then corrects, and then breaks impassively. So that's my take on gold, and also that marks the end of our weekly market forecast. Unless anyone has a question, we can call it a day. So if you have a question, kindly just unmute your mic and let me hear from you.